Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Therese Tucker. Welcome to this episode of Karma Cards. All right, so energetically, what are we dealing with this week? Today is Sunday, January 20th, and the sun has moved into Aquarius, and it's going to meet with Pluto, who's also in Aquarius, on the 21st of January. And this signifies a major transformation about the old system, the old structure falling away and new systems coming into place. And so we're going to be seeing that on the world stage, but we're also going to be feeling it in our personal lives. And that's really where my team is always inviting us to pay the most attention, because true change in the world always starts within, right? So it's just like Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Our own personal transformation is well underway. Now, we're still underneath the influence of Mars retrograde in Cancer, which, like I talked to you about last week, is very much about dealing with where we feel insecure and how we are trying to meet those and how it might influence our motivation, right? If we're motivated by our insecurity, we're going to go about things to meet that need to get security. And it's not always it's not the highest version of ourselves, because it's not coming from a place where we truly feel secure in who we are. So we're still under the task right now of figuring out how to create a sense of security within ourselves. Now we're adding to it this Sun Kazimi Pluto in Aquarius, which is talking about the transformation, that nothing that was before will be now. It is new. Aquarius is about the future. It's about the leading edge of thought. And by the way, at the last spirit circle, which was the full moon in Cancer, there was a beautiful channeling that came through. That's going to be available on the Modern Mystic Soul podcast on Tuesday, the 22nd. So be sure to check that out. The message was really valuable, and it goes nicely with this message that we have here today. So if everything that we knew before structurally is falling away to make space for this new era, right? So Age of Aquarius representing the future and what is new and how it's different. And remember, there is the tone of the Age of Aquarius. One of the words that's associated with it is humanitarian. So it's working for all. It's not just working for one, it's working for all. As we are looking at that in our own life, right, it makes sense now why we're having to go into this deep dive of what's motivating you. Is it your insecurity? Let's deal with that, because insecurity is very much focused on my needs, right? Our individual needs, and getting those met by any means possible, whether it's constantly focusing in your relationships that somebody needs to take care of you, and redirecting that energy to, I'm the one here to take care of me. That doesn't mean we don't need help or support. It just means that the one that we're going to consistently to make sure our needs are getting met is us, right? Us on an individual level. As we do that, we balance out and we start looking at what we are creating for ourselves differently, because when we are meeting our own needs, suddenly we become very aware of how we can meet the needs of others. And truly, that is the counterbalance to insecurity, is when you recognize I can meet someone else's needs, then you are not insecure in yourself in that way. For example, if you have time to give to another person, you are not insecure with time. If you have money to share with another person, you are not insecure with money, and so on, right? So when we look at that, we can start to find our own sense of security. And the more we can focus on how we can meet the needs of another, whether it's time or attention or financially or through nourishment, however you meet it, you will see that you have security. And once you start really acknowledging that, you can start to expand that. You can build that awareness. So that's the first part that we're still in, and we're here until February 23rd. So this will be a reoccurring topic as we move forward in the weeks, as this is being worked through individually. But adding to that this week, the team is talking about if life is transforming and no structure that you knew before is the structure, then that means things fundamentally can shift in your life, even the way that you structure, how you are approaching life in general. And I wanted to share with you something that personally came through for me from my team. I'm not sure if I shared it before, so if I did, it might be a repeat, but it's a good one. It was just so beautiful and so simple, and something that maybe if I was in a more objective place would have come to me, but usually in the middle of whatever we're going through, whatever we're working on, we're not in an objective place. We're usually very subjective about it. But the message that came through was so simple, and it was to the effect of, this gets to be easy now. Your challenges get to be fun and stimulating and positive. And what was really interesting about that is, and I heard that and I was like, yes, thank you. I will take that. This gets to be easy now. And it became a mantra. What I'm really learning about it since I've heard that and started to apply it and take it on and decide the things that are challenging me are fun and stimulating and not threatening or scary or hard, is that I'm still met with challenges that aren't what I would typically call fun, but how I am approaching that challenge is from a point of, I can relax into this. I do not have to react to it the way I would. And I'll give you an example of that. So my house has a propane tank, and we've lived here for 10 years, have never had a problem with it. Not once have we had an issue with filling our propane tank. It's always easy. This last time, for whatever reason, we misgauged how much was left, and we were out of the propane, and the people who come to fill the propane came. And as they went to go fill the tank, the person looks at the tags and go, the tags on this tank are expired. I can't fill this tank. They've been expired for over 10 years, which if you remember, I said we've been here for 10 years. So those tags apparently have been expired for over 10 years, and yet we've had that tank consistently filled month after month for 10 years. So both my husband and I were confused because we rent, we don't own this. The idea of propane tanks having tags was absolutely brand new to us. We didn't realize that because no one had ever explained it. And so it became this like drama about, we're out of heat, we're out of hot water, how are we going to get this? We're suddenly hit with these details that never existed before and suddenly exist, and it became this thing. And what I realized is, the more that I said, this is fine, it's going to be taken care of, it's going to be done easily, it's going to be okay, it went from this, it could be months until this gets rectified, to it getting rectified overnight. And what I realized was the difference was there was a choice point that I identified as we were going through the process. And I identified, this is the moment I can panic, or I could just relax. And I felt it. And you usually don't get that when you are triggered into a situation. You usually don't really see that choice point, but it's always there. I can panic, or I can get reactive, or I can relax. And I remembered the little mantra that my team had dropped into my head just days before about, this gets to be easy now, this gets to be fun and stimulating. And I went, I'm not going to stress about it. I'm just going to go with this. I'm not going to fight or resist with my mind what is happening. I am simply going to sit back and be like, I don't know how this resolves itself so easily, but it does. And it did. It did. And that's why I share this with you, is because it wasn't that the challenge was more fun. That's not a fun thing to be in. We're having this cold front come through, and there's going to be no heat or hot water. We had power, obviously, which is great, but those are restrictions and limits. That's not fun. That's not light and breezy like the mantra proclaims it could be. No, what was easy was, I didn't have to panic. I did not have to go into reaction. I could stay calm and relaxed and decide, this is easy. I don't know how, and I did not know how it would resolve so quickly, because that's actually not my part. My part is to decide, do I want to freak out and go into sort of a constricted energy and really just allow whatever that path is going to have happen? Or do I want to relax and trust energetically? I'm like, I don't know why this is coming to my attention. It apparently needs to. I'm grateful for the awareness. I'm grateful for the help. I'm grateful for how easy this is. This resolves easily. Not knowing what the path looks like, only knowing how it feels. And so I want to bring this to your attention today and give this to you because we all have this choice. It's the react or respond choice. And the key here is that you don't have to know the answer to choose one. You don't have to know how it's going to play out to decide whether you get to react and constrict or relax and expand. You just have to choose one of those. And so I'm inviting you, if this feels good to you, if it's something you want to try, to allow yourself that this, as we move forward into these new energies, the old is done. And maybe in the past you were like me and you got easily reactive to stressful stimuli. It just triggered you and you got bunched up and really worried and anxious and hyper-focused on it. Maybe that's what you did, but we have crossed a threshold. Energetically, we are in that new world. We're in the new era. Things are still up in the air and not settled yet. We're not going to necessarily see that, but we are in it and we can utilize the energy. And so it gets to be easy. Your challenges get to be fun and positively stimulating. That does not mean you won't get hard things. It doesn't mean you won't get tested in ways that you need to be tested in order to see where you're sitting, okay? You will get those things, but it gets to be easy and it can be fun and it can be positively stimulating. And the choice point is, do I react or do I respond? Reacting is constricting, responding is expansive. And as you do that, you will see that the shift will take you down the road that you've declared, the path of ease or the path of resolution or what have you. Whatever it is you're needing, the choice point is right there at the beginning when you're presented with it. So I'm going to practice staying aware of that choice point. I'm going to hold that information that my team gave me to work with in life. And I'm going to really try to stay as conscious as I can when I get to these points. Doesn't mean we won't have a knee-jerk reaction to something, but we can always shift over into response where we're like, it doesn't have to be this hard. Oh, I'm taking my hands off of that. I don't want to restrict. I'm letting that go. It doesn't have to be hard. This could be easier than I foresee it to be. And I'm letting that be true. And as we do that, we're going to see that shift in our lives. So I hope you found that helpful because it really, I have, every time I've seen a swift shift in energy in my life, it usually is when I relax. And that looks like sometimes surrender, or I let go, or I step back and I'm like, this is easier than it looks. Whenever I do that, I see a quick transformation happen. So I want to give that to you. And hopefully you'll get to see that too as you utilize this technique. And of course, I would love to hear your response. Let me know in the comments below. If something's come up, have you tried this technique? Did it create a quick transformation for you? If not, let me know in the comments and we can try to work it out and see what's going on. But do give it a shot because like I said, especially on the 21st of January, that Sun Kazimi Pluto is a threshold we're passing. We don't go back. You don't have to live your experience through reactivity. You can choose response. And I think it gets easier and easier the deeper we go into this energy. But let's check in now with the karma cards and see what they want to add to this conversation. If you are new to karma cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I have 3 decks here: planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what is the message you have for this week? And I've got 2 sets of answers, a set in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you play is you tune in with that beautiful intuition of yours and feel what kind of guidance are you looking for right now. Do you want action related guidance? Do you want to see how things resolve? And of course, you can always choose both. And while you're choosing, let me tell you the timing for this reading. This reading is for January 19th through January 26th. and the flavor of this reading. We've got Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. And if you think about what I was just talking about, when you allow yourself to be responsive instead of reactive, you are relaxing. And as you relax, you expand. So something is expanding or being shown to us. Something positive is opening up this week, which I love. In the sign of Scorpio. Now this is interesting because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So that Kazimi we were talking about between the Sun and Pluto coming forward. Scorpio wants to get down to the depths. It's about transformation. It's about the deepest truth. It's about that psychic ability to know. So it's getting right to the point. It's going to the heart of a situation. In the second house, which is where security lives. So the second house is ruled by Taurus. It talks about work, it talks about possessions, it talks about money and comfort and luxury. All of that's included in the second house. But the underlying theme is security, like having the assets that make you feel secure. Also value, like what you value is a part of that, but security is a big part. So getting to the heart, expanding and getting to the heart of what makes you feel secure. All right. For those who are choosing action, your spiritual action at this time is to learn or teach the extraordinary power of prayer patiently. It feels very much aligned to what we were talking about. I mentioned before that it's a decision, it's a choice point. But there is faith included in that choice. When we're deciding we're not going to react, but we're going to respond, that we're not going to bunch up, but we're going to relax, that is coming from a place of faith, right? When we are going to, when we're presented with a hard challenge and something is in front of us that is really feels almost threatening, and we're going to relax and trust in God or a higher power that this is all going to work out for our highest good, that is definitely an act of faith. And our faith is being asked to be increased at this time. We actually have a desire to increase it with that North Node in Pisces now. That's about the desire to expand our faith. And so learn or teach the extraordinary power of prayer, the faith patiently, right? Believe in this process and understand it takes time. If you are a naturally reactive person, or you easily scare or easily get triggered by challenging situations, have patience with yourself that you are going to expand that faith. It might not happen instantly. You might not have that moment where you're like, oh, I could react here or respond. Let me choose. You might just go right into reaction. Have faith that you can turn it around. You can use prayer to call in the energy you desire. Help me be more aware of my choice to react or respond. Help me have more faith in the unknown. You can use that to help you make this shift. So it's not something that I'm asking you to do at the snap of a finger. This has taken years of me being aware of it before I really just let it drop into situations. And if you know my story, you know that over 10 years ago, I had a crisis moment that caused me to have to choose faith. It was like faith or bust, and I chose faith. And so because of that, it has been easier and easier over time for me to lean into the faith, because I've had my, almost hit the wall moment with it. So if you haven't, I'm not saying you need that. I'm just saying give yourself permission that you're going to shift. If you're reactive and you want to be more responsive and you still get really easily triggered, just breathe and know that as soon as I catch myself, I'm going to shift over into response. Patience. Mental action at this time, be positive about the highest and lowest aspects of what you want. What I hear from the team on this one is give yourself the benefit of the doubt that you're doing the best you can, especially if we're working on that part about, is insecurity triggered right now? Am I motivated by my insecurity? Give yourself the benefit of the doubt that you're doing the best you can from where you're at, because you are. Awareness is a key that grows us, that matures us, that gives us that bigger vision of what we're operating with. So if we find that we're in this sort of unconscious place of, yes, I am very motivated by my insecurity and getting those needs met. Instead of coming down on yourself hard, like you should be over this by now, which some of us do, give yourself the benefit of the doubt that I was doing the best I can with the awareness I had. As my awareness expands, my behavior changes. And I think that's as simple as it can be. As my awareness expands, my behavior changes. So as I see more and more, I will naturally shift. And I think that that's a fair assessment, and that's being loving and kind to yourself and not being so hard, right? Because again, during these periods where stuff is going to pop up, the stuff that needs healing is popping up all over the place. That doesn't mean you're failing. It actually means you're doing the job, because our job now is to rectify and heal that. So I know that when people are spiritually evolving, and I've been there myself, that we get these high moments of like, wow, I really feel like I'm trusting in the universe and I'm trusting in myself and I'm seeing myself as a creator and it's so beautiful. And then we have these moments where we just feel so bogged down and like we're ricocheting back into old behavioral patterns. And the fear around that is, if that happens, I'm not evolving, or I'm losing, or I didn't do it, or whatever. None of that's true. It means you're aware of it and you're seeing it. And that actually implies that you're moving forward. So part of this is just giving yourself that benefit of the doubt that you're doing the best you can. This is hard. If it was easy, we'd have done it already, right? This is a challenge. But again, our challenges can now be fun and positively stimulating. And this gets to be easy. There's the mantra. Just keep repeating it. Physical action at this time: grow and expand, control the situation, and get what you need. That almost sounds counter to me. We got the control the situation from Scorpio. That is very much a sort of like, I want to put my mind meld on it and control the situation with my mind. The most important thing here is the growth and the expansion, and that only comes through, again, relaxation, allowing, surrender. All of that energy helps you to grow and expand. I want you to think about it like this. Think about how your eyes work. When your eyes are soft and relaxed, there's expansion, right? You get to see more. You can see from your peripheral vision, right? And you're relaxed. So in order to open up your peripheral vision, you have to relax your eyes. When you want to really see something, you have to narrow your focus, narrowing the energy, constricting, going in, right? So the key to controlling the situation and getting what you want is through expansion and relaxation. You got to let it go. You got to trust. Again, the faith element comes in. That's so the word control here really throws you, because it makes you want to narrow in and grab. But what they're saying here is it's control through a higher aspect of ourself. It's through source. It's through our higher self, through the highest levels of us. That's actually what we're giving it over to. So that's the piece that's in control. We in ourselves just have to relax and expand to allow more of that energy to work through us, and you will get the outcome that you want. So it's trickily phrased, this one, but the key is to relax and allow. All right, so now let's look at the outcomes for Jupiter in Scorpio in the second house of security and value. Spiritual outcome at this time: the granting of purification to resurrect your beliefs. All right, so as we relax and allow, the faith gets stronger. You start to see what you've always wanted to see, right? This belief that the universe has your back and is conspiring in your favor, as an example. When you allow it to, it can do it. And then you're like, I believe, right? I showed you that with my personal example. As I decided this gets to be easy and resolve quickly, and I don't know how, I just know it will. The universe has my back. And so it did. It really did. And it was beautiful. And I believe that it was my choice that led me down that path, because it could have gone a lot of different ways, but it went in a very pleasant way. I went from being told my tank is expired, to my tank is leaking and has to be locked and I can't go have any propane put in it, to we're going to try and fix this tomorrow morning, to no, we're going to fix it tonight, to oh, it's fine, no leak, you're fine, everything's flowing, you got the propane, we're going to add more in a couple days. So I went from being told this could take a long time to this could be resolved tomorrow, to this is resolved tonight, to it being done. It was a whirlwind. And all I did the whole time was I went, you got this. Like, I'm going to relax. I'm just going to say thank you. I'm going to express gratitude and appreciation. I'm going to stay calm and know that whatever I'm served right now I'm going to be just fine. And ultimately, it was the best possible outcome. That came from allowing it. That came from responding instead of reacting and relaxing in the process and knowing like this isn't how it looks. It looks bad, but it might resolve better, and I have faith that it will. That's what it looks like. Mental outcome at this time, blessings from the secrets of what you value. Again, I'm going to add that mantra in because at the time when that thought dropped in that it gets to be easy from now on and my challenges are fun and my challenges are positively stimulating, I grabbed that. As soon as I heard it, I went, yes, please. And I took on, right? So again, I valued that statement. That statement has blessed me. I, in my life, am prone to anxiety, right? That's one of the things I've dealt with all my life. I'm prone to scrunching up and preparing and bracing for worse. I think a lot of us are. I think it's the nature of the world we live in is that we're like, get ready, right? I know there's a lot of people right now with the upcoming inauguration who are like bracing and trying to get ready. You can relax. You can relax. You can allow the universe to work out its bigger plan and see what happens versus preparing for I've heard statements from people that are very dark. They're really bracing for the worst. And my heart goes out to them. I wish them peace and I wish them ease and I wish them to have a sense of safety and relaxation. And how we do that is on an internal level, and we take on that which helps us feel supported, which helps us feel protected, and which helps us feel blessed. And for me, it was taking on that mantra about challenges and recognizing that these get to be easy now because I've passed the threshold. So have you. So as you take on whatever your belief is, especially those, with Jupiter involved, let's look at our positive beliefs. As we really take those on, we are blessed by them. You will receive blessings from those positive beliefs that are supporting you right now. You shall feel that. And that's such a beautiful energy to have. All right, physical outcome at this time, good fortune resulting from the power of your resources. And these resources, again, these are internal resources. So the second house talks about resources, and many times it's talking about our external resources, like our money and our home and our things. But this message, I kid you not, is all about these internal resources. There's the shift. The old was about the external. The new is about the internal. It's always been about the internal. Why it's new is because as a collective, our consciousness is raising up. As we raise up, we realize I've been carrying the magic within me this whole time. It's never been out there. It's always been in here. So as we tap into those internal resources, again, remember focusing on where I'm secure, because what I feel like I can give out, I am secure in that, right? And I can create more security within myself by recognizing my internal resources. As we do that, we are blessed again. So good things come as we acknowledge our resources, these internal resources, feeling supported by the universe, feeling that the universe is a place that loves you deeply. God loves you, Source loves you, the universe, whatever you want to call it, loves you deeply. These challenges that we are faced with, whatever they are not meant to take you down. They are meant to show you who you are, how powerful you are, how strong you are, how loving you are, how supported you are. All of that That's actually what it's about. It's not about the challenge. It's about you seeing who you are in the face of that. And there's the blessing. So with that, I am sending you so much love, so much appreciation. I see the blessing that you are. Please take a moment to acknowledge it within yourself and recognize this gets to be easy if you want it to be. It gets to be easy. And all along, I'm going to be here to support you through the process. If you like this episode, if you're liking this channel, please take a moment to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps my channel grow, and we can get this message out to more people. Imagine if we were all functioning, if the majority of us were functioning from that place. Imagine that world. That's the world that is coming. That is the world unfurling right now. And if we start doing this work on the individual level, what beauty, what amazing things are we going to see in a very short period of time? Mwah.